In 1969, the government issued a draft. It was the first one since World War II. My grandpa was one among the drafted to the Vietnam War. He had turned 20 in April of 1970 and was drafted then. He never went to Vietnam, but he was stationed in Germany for about 2 years. While he was stationed there, he made a purchase that has made an impact on my family. He first bought himself a knife, but then wrote a letter telling his dad about the knife. Later, he got a letter back from my great-grandpa Roy, more commonly known as great-grandpa Irish, that he wanted one as well. So, my grandpa went back to the small knife shop and bought a Zwillingswerk knife, which he gave to his dad as promised. Because of the great controversy at this time, many were not happy with the draft, and some didn't get the choice, but others made it their duty to protest against the war and the draft. Protests were a common occurrence during this time because many people had strong beliefs and wanted a change, so they did something about it. When my grandpa bought the knife in 1971, it was a part of the Warham KG, but it was most likely made just before that because in 1969 the owner had switched as well as the logo. It was first with the Zwilling, or the twins, without the red background, but now it has the red background. The company has been around for 288 years, starting back with Peter Henkel's in 1731. The specific knife that my grandpa bought is very different from many of the knives of this brand. It is a 3-blade pocket knife with a utility blade, a bone saw, and a gutting blade. And the handle is made out of antler. The main use of this knife would be for field dressing an animal, and that is how it is used in my family. In 1982, my great-grandpa Irish passed away, so the knife went back to my grandpa. He eventually gave it to my dad in 1992, but my dad didn't really think anything of it or use it until about 8 years ago. When my dad killed his first elk, he used this knife to field dress the elk. He then felt a strong connection to my great-grandpa Irish. It was the first time that he felt so close to him because he died when my dad was 7. The feeling that my dad experienced was because he had known the story of the knife and the connection it had to my great-grandpa Irish. In the beginning, my grandpa Tim did not want to go to war. He didn't want to put his life on hold, as many of the other people he didn't really pay attention to or believe in the war. But he did what his country asked, and he went. He doesn't regret it anymore, but he did at the time. And I'm grateful that he went and made the purchase of the Zwillingswerk knife because of the importance it holds to my family. I'm grateful that we have a strong connection to our family history, and we all enjoy it because we would never know about some of the artifacts that I have in my family. Our families are important, and we need to learn about them. And I'm grateful that my grandpa was so willing to share.